my goodness. I tell you, this is every week, it's like the comedy of errors. Well, thank you for those of you that are joining me this morning. Let me get rid of my keyboard here. It's wonderful to have you here and so good to be back doing these. Last week was so awesome and it just feels great to be back. So I appreciate all of you that support this channel and watch these live streams, or whether you watch them live or as a video later. Thank you. Thank you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. If you've spent even 5 minutes on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button and the like button, and that would help us out so much. And that way, if you subscribe, you won't miss out. And if you have your notifications with YouTube turned on, then you will not miss any of Mother's live streams and when they're happening and all that good stuff. So, hello, may I address you as Gear? Is that all right? May I address you as, yes, oh, there you are, coming together in and as Joy. Gear, so wonderful to have you here today, Gear. Mwah. Big hug and kiss to you. All right, well, let's get started. Hello, beloved ones. It is wonderful to be with you today. I hope that you have had a wonderful and insightful week since the last time we were together, and freedom has taken on an expanded meaning for you. And I hope that what I offered last week has begun to integrate on deeper levels within your being. And today I want to explore this subject a little bit more. I'm going to be spending more and more time in focusing on your soul, that spirit self that dwells within the physical body, and freeing that soul within you so that it has greater voice, it has more powerful presence, and little by little you can let the mind step out of the way long enough for the soul to have a more dominant influence on your decisions, your choices, and your discernment. So last week I spoke about, or I asked you, what are you hanging on to? How do you hang on to it? Why do you hang on to it? All this is an exploration in order to stimulate the process of inner wisdom. If you don't ask yourself these questions from time to time, then it's easy to sort of stay in certain cycles. When you ask a question of yourself, try to ask it. I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but stick with me. Don't ask the questions of yourself with that singular motivation to get an answer, but ask the question to stimulate the process of discovery. Because what you discover within yourself might surprise you, and I'm sure has surprised you over the years. Because your consciousness in this moment might be capable of asking a particular question of yourself. What am I hanging on to? Or what stands between me and my freedom? Or how do I keep my soul locked down or repressed? These are all wonderful questions. But the pathway to the enlightenment, to being enlightened around that question, may not be a linear answer or a tit for tat. Why am I repressing my soul? Well, then the direct answer might be, oh, because of the trauma you experienced in childhood. Okay, that's important to know. That's good. That is a starting point. But again, those types of answers tend to just be a starting point, because self-knowledge is a wonderful thing, but it's not really the thing. What we're going for, beloved ones, is inner wisdom. And all of a sudden, the question, why do I repress my soul? The process of gaining inner wisdom around that question goes far beyond one answer. There are layers of energetics, of emotions, of behaviors, of thought patterns, so that as you focus on this question, I'm asking that you focus on it from an open-ended or open-minded, open-hearted way, to try and let go of the mind's need for that immediate linear answer. I have this problem, boom, here's the answer. Oftentimes, that level of self-knowledge doesn't really solve the problem or the issue. It might give you more insight, but it doesn't alleviate the burden. It does not free you from the situation. The mind will do its utmost to convince you that, in fact, all you need is that self-knowledge. And once you have it, there's your solution. That's it. But each of you know, because you have been on this path of consciousness for quite some time, you know that self-knowledge has its own limitations. So the deeper you go into this experience of freedom, the more you discover that self-knowledge is only a small part of things, and sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes can create its own trap of limitation. So if you ask the question and the mind wants that right, quick, linear answer, and you get that linear answer, but because that answer doesn't automatically come with a solution, those kinds of answers can actually create fear, unhealthy fear. Why is my soul repressed? Boom, quick linear answer, because of the trauma in your childhood. Now, that does not free your soul. And you think, oh boy, I don't know if I want to even dip into the trauma of my childhood, let alone really get in there and explore it. If that's what I have to do in order to free my soul, no, thank you. The fear rises up and can suffocate your momentum, your willingness, your compassion for a sound. But if you ask these questions with more openness, more space, more expansiveness, then what happens is your soul, your divine guidance, both within and all around you, starts to guide you in little steps, little ways, until the answer starts to unfold and blossom from deep within you. And it's not just one thing. And because it's not just one thing, the whole of your freedom doesn't balance on this one leg, right? But all of a sudden, little ways to create freedom start to bubble up. You start to see little behaviors, small things that you think, I can shift that. I can do something different. Now that I see it, now that I experience that behavior and I experience the consequences of that behavior, I can shift that just a little bit. And then this little thing over here, I can shift this a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And before you know it, you have created a powerful foundation of support, so that if at some point you feel, okay, it's time to sit with professional help with the trauma of my childhood, but I feel so strong, I feel so supported. I have made these little changes and they have brought big dividends of love and support back into my life. I'm not just balancing on this one stick, this one little pedestal whereupon the big answer sits, right? I have all these legs of support. So that if at any point you need to go deep into your shadow, the shadow of your past, the shadow of your present, and where those meet and intertwine, you are doing so from a place of love, where your courage can shine through because you've already allowed this question to spread out into the whole of your life. And you have entertained and welcomed many different possibilities. You have made little changes along the way that have made a big difference. Because your freedom is never just about putting one key in one lock, opening it up, and the door is open, and you fly free. But imagine that your repression, your bondage, is lots of different sizes of locks with different sizes of keys. And I don't say this to make it overwhelming, that, oh, there's so many things you have to unlock. It's not like that. It really isn't, beloved ones. But better to go little lock, little key, and then another, then maybe some medium-sized locks and keys, maybe some, after you've created more and more freedom and you feel what that freedom is like, it inspires you to do a little bit more. It can be easy to fall into the fantasy of insta freedom, right? If I just knew the trick, if I could just find that big key and put it in that big lock and crank it open and throw open this big heavy door all one time, that would be it. But I promise you, as much as that fantasy is alive within you, that would create its own trauma. And the whole point of truly being free is to let go of your trauma, your unhealthy fears, your self-centered fears, your fears around the unknown, about losing what you have or not getting what you want so that you are loved and safe and secure. It is best to set yourself free a little bit at a time. And when you do that, there will be times where it feels like you've made a big shift. You've had a big leap into freedom, and you feel enormous relief. But you set in motion so many little freedoms that helped prepare you and support you and inspire you for those bigger leaps. And sometimes this is the tricky part about energy and emotions and feelings. They tend to not flow along logical, linear pathways. And so maybe what might seem like a little lock and a tiny little key, maybe something that you'd put on a diary. You find that key and you find the courage to put it in the lock and turn it and open it. And just a little door in the cage. And that small thing can feel so extraordinary within. As if you just relieved yourself of 100-pound burden you've been carrying on your back that you didn't even know you were carrying. So when you ask questions of yourself, ask it in such a way that you are opening the doors to many different possibilities, that the answer isn't just one thing, but it is a myriad of things, that when they all come together, when they are open one by one, they create the answer. They don't give you the logical self-knowledge answer, but they actually create the answer within you. So you have to decide at some point, do you want answers that feed the mind, that yes, might bring self-knowledge? Okay, great. Or do you want the answer, the solution, the shift, the transformation, the freedom? And this is why I ask you to bring your whole self to the process at every age. Because at every different age, you have lived, you are living, you will live. You have different skills. You are connected to different aspects of the collective, of the divine, of yourself. And your whole self can be those many different legs of support that ultimately help you to create your freedom. And I know that what I'm asking, beloved ones, is big. Because the mind also likes to remind you, likes to hook into your fears, that if you don't get that linear answer right now or really soon, if you don't get that self-knowledge, then you are going to be out of control. You will not have control of your life. Everything's going to fall apart, and that could lead to your annihilation. And this is not a joke. As a human being, as a tribal animal, as a herd animal, as a pack animal, being separated from the herd, from the tribe, that is does not bode well for your survival. So to be accepted, to be one with the tribe, one with the pack, you have to know so that you can stay in control. You can keep your place in the pack. So when these fears come up, give them to me, beloved ones. Talk your way through it. It's okay not to know the answer right away. And maybe if I'm not getting the answer right away, I need to trust that my soul understands. If I knew the answer, it would make me more frightened. That because the answer isn't coming like that I need to gather and make little changes, gather support, make little changes in my freedom. I need to build a stronger foundation before I am given the insight. You trust yourself, your soul. You trust in love, and you trust in the divine. The mind will not always get what it wants. And that can be a very good thing. So see if you can start to ask your questions with more spaciousness and see how that unfolds. This could be a change that can bring enormous freedom into your life. And as always, I'm here with you every step of the way. I love you. Have a wonderful week. Namaste. Oh my goodness, what a great follow-up from last week. Oh my goodness. The big feeling I got was how stress-free that is, like to live like that, for the mind to give over or to explore the questions, the inner questions from that manner with sort of stepping out of the mind and boy, that felt so serene. That was awesome. Oh my gosh, from Park City. Oh, it's so lovely to see you here. It has almost been a year. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I'm so glad to see you. How lovely. You are so welcome, Shar. So glad you are here. And Mandy, lovely to see you. Thank you. Yeah, Insta freedom is a fantasy. That definitely needs to go on a bumper sticker. Agreed, Susan. Agreed. Oh, so great to have you here. So nice to see you, Sean. You are so welcome for all of it. Although it's not my wisdom, but I'm happy to be of service to bring it through. All right. Well, everyone, so wonderful to have you here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a fantastic week. And I hope I get to see you back here next Monday. Okay, lots of love. Bye.